As the wind erodes and the water corrodes, altering everything we think we know, but we don't. It's all temporary, and it used to, but now the thought doesn't scare me or keep my feet from following one after another until I slumber. Then my mind, not my feet, wander and dream of people and places I'll never see again. I've mended as much mental anguish as I can, and now I try to use this language to take these thoughts from my head to my pen. Cause though I don't speak of my dead friends or the circumstances, often the blow never softens or yields. I'm in a desolate field, lonesome stargazing, night blazing, chasing traces of remembrance and reverence of relevant friends and acquaintances, and faceless and nameless names and faces. And while my mind is racing through these photo albums and quotations, all these people and places far from me, for only land and stars I see when I'm outside of the Mile High City, which is not my city, for I was born 1,000 miles northeast of there, in the land of beer and lakes and pistol fire on MLK's birthday, where there is no minorities and segregation's mandatory. But that's a whole nother story altogether, and no matter the weather or hardships that any place brings, I'll still laugh when people shiver and say it's freezing, or say, hey, no wait, I already had 18 mixed drinks, but I guess it's a Midwest thing, and I'm a mess from a dirty city and brought most of this filth I've gathered with me.
Welcome to episode 83 of Experience Andy Weins Live, our weekly opportunity to come together to take a little inventory on a lesson to be learned, where one person teaches, two people learn. That's what we're doing this week. Today we're going to talk about the power of 5. The power of 5 seconds, 5 minutes, and 5 hours that will change your life. Coming up after the break.
My work labors on as lovers sleep in each other's arms, remaining calm and collect. I begin my self-reflection process of redemption. Honestly, I don't know where this road leads, or if I'm even going. Could be rowing upstream, or worse, chasing my dreams to the peak, to finally be somebody doing something with what I have, rather than saying again and again that I can't and I won't anymore from this day forward. Cause Lord knows the past is set in stone and the present is yours to mold and to use for future uses. I know I'm a nuisance, I'm told, cause I'm neither young nor old, nor giant nor gnome. I don't sleep on these streets usually, though I've made thrones of my own. I don't sit well with idle hands, though don't know what to do when I'm home all alone. I'm a menace thrown from society, and as it lies to me, I'll smile silently as others do as they please. I am watching and listening, and I'm grinning all the while, cause sometimes all you can really do is smile. So as the work labors on, I'll keep on singing my songs, and this day is never done. We just keep on spinning around that sun, and well, through all these miles and trials, all I've learned to do is smile. Is to smile.
Welcome back to Experience Andy Weins Live. Took the last week off as I was out exploring the world, so I'm glad you're back. I'm glad I'm back so we can share these 15, 20 minutes together as we do most weeks. So here we are, episode 83, and today we're going to be talking about the power of 5. 5 seconds, 5 minutes, and 5 hours, and how it can change the narrative to your life over time when you make those investments. First and foremost, though, gratitude. When we focus on gratitude, we see gratitude. And so I always start every show with a moment of gratitude, finding something, the people, the places, the things that I'm grateful for in this world, because when I focus on it, I see it more often. And I realized over time, I did a show about this, I don't know, maybe a year ago, being grateful for those that make you great. I realized that when I'm around the people that I'm grateful for, it's because they bring out the greatness within me. And that holds itself true to today's moment of gratitude in the person. Jenna Johns. Jenna Johns she's my girl. We've been dating for a little bit. We went on our second vacation, little road tripping, backpacking adventure the last week and a half. We had an absolute blast together. I realized what I'm so grateful for her is how much she accepts me. At 41 years old, I have an idea of who I am. I know where I've come from, and most importantly, I know where I'm going. And she accepts those aspects of me. She brings those things out in me, and she also challenges me to where I want to go in this world rather than what often people do, challenging you to be a version of you that they want. And so I'm extremely grateful for her, for loving me and accepting me for who I am and all those things that encompass that. And she's the inspiration behind today's show. But 10 minutes ago, I texted her. 15 minutes ago, I texted her. I said, what would be good for me to talk about today in the episode? She gave me 10 things. And one of the things, ooh, that's a good one. That sparked interest. That got the wheels turning. So I'm grateful for her, for the way that she loves me and accepts me and pushes me to be the man that I want to be the man that I see myself being in the future. She pushes me every day to be that man today. And this year, my battle cry, my mantra this year is, who am I becoming? When I'm looking at the decisions I'm faced with, when I'm looking at the opportunities that come my way, I take this question, who am I becoming? And when I apply that, right, in the OODA loop, observe, orient, decide, act, when I apply that in the orient phase, right, I look at something, I say, okay, who am I becoming? It's very clear which direction I go. And she does a great job of reminding me of where I'm going versus holding me to who I am today or looking at where I was in the past. So I am extremely grateful for her, love her, and I appreciate her every day, every minute we get together. And she's the inspiration behind the episode this week. And we'll talk a little bit about that here in a second. Second thing, paying bills. That's what I like doing. Keynote speaking, workshops, webinars, all the things I love doing. Recently hooked up, I picked up 2 webinars recently. One I'm doing is the language of leaders, which I've done before. And the next one is the science of sales. So I was asked to talk about where is the science of words as it relates to sales. And so I developed a new webinar. It can also be a workshop. So the science of sales, how using confident language drives the competence and allows you to win, and how all too often salespeople and people in general use weak language, soft language, shit words, as I say. And so how do we bring out with the confident language that leads to more wins? So the science of sales is a new workshop I'm doing for any organization that wants to win more, because sales are not only external, they're also internal. How do you influence people within your organization? How do you get them to buy in to where you're going within your culture, within your company, driving that culture? It's all about the language you use and the science behind selling what you're doing, convincing people, converting people to your ideology to get the buy-in so they do exactly as the organization wants, and builds that great culture of winning and great culture of confidence and competence. All right, so we're going to talk about 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 hours. And I said it was, the thought it came from with Jenna this morning here in Wisconsin. It's 44 and raining. It is disrespectful, the weather out there today, because a week ago it was 82 and sunny, right? We got the false start to summer. Now this week, high is like 57, rain every day, low of 39. Like, that's the kind of day we're dealing with. And I was bummed out this morning. I did not sleep well last night. Weather is shit, right? I found things to complain about this morning. I was taking a couple calls before I headed into work, as I was working from home this morning. And I know I'm doing it, and she's made a few comments to me, and she's cheering me up along the way. And right as I'm leaving, I made one more comment, one more complaint, and she goes, "Are you going to complain the rest of your day, or are you going to go out and have a good day?" And I was like, "Oh shit!" Right? Those 5 seconds, reframing. She didn't accuse me of doing anything. She didn't tell me I was doing wrong. She didn't tell me what to do. She asked me a simple question in less than 5 seconds that reframed my entire day. Right? Yes, the weather is shit. Yes, I did not sleep well last night. Yes, the lunch I wanted to pack was not available. Those things are true. Do I let those little 5-second failures ruin the rest of my day? Or do I take 5 seconds to shift my perspective? And in that moment, I shifted those 5 seconds. It also plays into Mel Robbins. Mel Robbins talks about 5 seconds when faced with a decision. And the greatest decision she struggled with was the snooze button. right? So when the snooze is going off, before making any action, before doing anything, she says, count down from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, right? Because if you respond at 5, it's, oh, the alarm's going off. What do you do? Hit it. Nope. F you. Give me another 10 minutes. I need it. I deserve it. I want it. Versus counting down 5 seconds and then doing the thing that you know is necessary. When you're about to walk into a conversation or a confrontation, right? When somebody talks, you count in your head 5 seconds before responding every single time. You're giving yourself, your brain, the time to respond to the situation versus reacting to the stimulus. Or did you walk up? Last night, actually, to shout out to Jenna, I was telling Jenna, in 6 weeks, I have a Army PTO, the old APFT. It's an old Army physical fitness test. Now it's the Army combat fitness test. And one of those things is the plank. And my plank ain't great. That's the truth. So last night, as we're getting ready for bed, Jenna's like, all right, got to do our planks. Because she asked, did you do your plank today? I go, no. And yesterday she asked, did you do your plank today? And the answer was no. Right? Because for a week there, the answer was I'm on vacation. Well, I've been back from vacation for almost a week and ain't no planks be getting done around here. And so last night she goes, okay, so let's do a plank. Before we do anything else, let's do a plank. And I wanted to throw it in and be like, all right, this is your 30 seconds. Fine. Do a 30-second plank and just check it off the list. And I go, nope, 1 minute. Let's do a 1 minute plank. So we did a 1 minute plank. And then I did push-ups. And then I did another 1 minute plank. All because it took 5 seconds to say, okay, let's do a plank. Because she asked me, right? Because she knows that I'm an adult that can make good, confident adult decisions. And yet I failed multiple days in a row at actually doing the plank until she said, hey, let's do a plank. And also she joined me on that journey. I said, let's do it together, right? So that 5 seconds shifted my mindset, right? Because it wasn't first thing in the morning when I was tired. It wasn't the middle of the day when I had things going on. I had declared I was showered and ready to go to bed. Well, I got a minute. I got a minute to a plank. I got 5 seconds to readjust, right? Get out of my comfort zone, crawling into bed and saying, okay, what is better for me in my life right now? 5-second adjustment. And by doing that, I ended up doing my plank and then I'm doing it again. And I felt good about myself because I accomplished something for 5 seconds, changing the narrative. It also goes back to what I said from the beginning. When it comes to the observe, orient, decide act of the OODA loop, I orient myself, right? In 5 seconds, who am I becoming? So instead of being that guy that would yell and scream and throw coffee cups, I take those 5 seconds to think things through, right? Think about what I'm thinking about. That's something. And then say, okay, how would a not crazy person respond to this situation? And that's the beginning of my conversation. That's the beginning of where I go. We had a recent situation here at work where a guy got in an accident with a truck, then lied about it, and then lied about it a second time. And I had the opportunity to yell and scream and throw a fit and text him and do all the things. And instead I said, okay, well, what is the SOP? What is the standard operating procedure, right? And we have very simple when-then language. When this happens, then we do this. So when an employee lies to us, then we fire them. Okay, there we go. 5 seconds, done. No need to get upset, mad, throw things, throw a fit, act like a 2-year-old, text something nasty that will always be, captured there. No. Okay, well, what do we do? Well, he lied, so then we fire him. Okay, let's go, move on. And so one of the other employees here yesterday, his name's Mike, younger guy, 24, full of piss and vinegar, great guy. And he goes, I just want to scream at people every day. Like, how do you do it? I go, lots of practice, right? And at 40, it took till 40 to figure it out that yelling and screaming and throwing fits generally does not solve the problems within our organizations. It might treat the symptoms from time to time, will not solve the overall problems. And I told them, I said, I live to fight another day 5 seconds at a time, right? Winning those 5 seconds makes a huge difference. So that's my challenge for you this week. When faced with an obligation, an opportunity, a challenge, right? Those things, those forks in the road, give yourself those 5 seconds to realign yourself, focusing on responding to the situation versus reacting to the stimulus. Give yourself 5 seconds. I guarantee you will come up with a better answer in 5 seconds than you will immediately. Something more well thought out, using that big, clear, creative, confident brain versus that lower lizard brain that's rooted in fight, flight, or freeze. Second thing, 5 minutes. I heard this a couple of years ago from a study. It takes 15 minutes a day to have true connection with those that you love. 5 minutes at a time. First 5 minutes you wake up, first 5 minutes that you get home, last 5 minutes before you go to bed. And this was talking about parenting and your spouses. And so a couple of years ago, I implemented this with my daughter. All too often, it would get up and be like, all right, come on, Penny, we got to go. Right. And I'm in got to go mode, right? Because I sleep up until the exact second I have to get up, right? And then I let her sleep in until exactly when we have to get up because I want to get that maximum amount of sleep. A couple of years ago, I decided, no, let's not do that anymore, right? I'm going to wake up 15 minutes early from where normally the time would be, right? So I can get myself up and ready, get her up and ready. And then, often it turns into me taking her out of bed, carrying her onto the couch and cuddling her on the couch for a few minutes, right? And spending those first 5 minutes of the day with her connecting and allowing her to wake up a little bit, right? And she's 10. Gosh, she's 11 earlier this month. She's 11. So those moments are fleeting. There's only so many of those left. So spend those 5 minutes with her connecting. Nothing transactional. Not what are we doing today? What's we're having for breakfast? What are we wearing? No, nothing. 5 minutes of pure connection. Same thing. I recognize often when I pick her up on the exchange. All too often I would get her in the car and be like, all right, what's new with school? How's your friends? What's this and what's that? No. Instead, now we get in the car, I start driving and I allow the silence and the stillness to happen. No iPad for her, no radio, no music for me. And every single time I've done this over the last year or so, every single time, within a minute, she breaks the silence and she asks me questions and she opens up to me. And we normally chat for those 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes. And then it turns into either a longer conversation or, hey, Dad, I want to take a nap, or hey, I want to do my iPad. Okay. And instead of having this 5-minute knockout, well, what's new with school? What have you done? Right? What'd you learn today, kid, that I grew up on? It's instead 5 minutes of silence for me, allowing her to get caught up with my world, and then she gets to lead the conversation. Very similar to what happens when you get home from school or work, or you reconnect with your significant others and your kids. All too often, it's like unload the groceries and take off your shoes and right. Instead, for me, it's taking those 5 minutes to embrace the other person, to sit with them, to relax with them, have no questions or anything on the agenda other than enjoying each other's company. And as much as I do this and I preach this, I've also failed at this. Last week, came home. Jenna was upstairs with one of the kids, giving her a bath. I was unloading groceries. Before I know it, I started making dinner. She started getting the kids ready for bed. And then we sat down and had dinner and didn't have a great conversation. And then we went for a walk and we worked it out. And as we're on the walk, her perspective, my perspective, of course, the truth is somewhere in the middle. And the one thing we both agreed on in that was that the truth in the middle was that we did not give each other those 5 minutes. We were both busy. We were both task-oriented. We were both giving of ourselves to somebody else, right? She was taking care of the kid. I'm making dinner and putting the groceries away. Like, we're doing stuff. We weren't sitting there on social media. We weren't going to the bar. Healthy activities, certainly. And yet we did not take those 5 minutes to connect. And the reality is, you give yourself 5 minutes. It takes like 30 seconds. 30 seconds, say, okay, hold on. You're my person. We got each other. That's it. Nothing comes into our world. And I got home last night and she was on the phone. One of her friends, she was catching up. And I got home and I was so excited. I brought some things home. I got some stuff that she wanted me to bring home. I also got some stuff from work here. I was very excited to show her. And I get home and I'm like, okay, hold on. Leave the stuff in the car. Get home. Go connect with her. And she's on the phone. And she instantly acknowledges she was on the phone, that those 5 minutes were important. And she was going to get up off the phone, right? So I just stayed back. I did a little bit of things, right, without actually starting a project. I took a couple things out of the truck. Her son helped. And then she got off the phone. And then we had our 5 minutes. We had a wonderful night, right? Similar stimuluses, right? Got all in the car. We got to make dinner. We got the kid. They got to take a shower. We got to redo them. All the same things. And yet the only difference between last week and this week was 5 good minutes. And we were intentional about it. And we also recognize, okay, you're on the phone, or me if I'm on a work call, or, actually the day before I pulled in, I was on the phone with my mom. And I was sitting on the phone with my mom in the driveway for like 10 minutes. So it's like, okay, once that's done, then take the 5 minutes, right? Progress over perfection. It's not like this hard and fast rule where you pull in the driveway, shut her down, run in, like, okay, set the alarm, set the time. We got to get 5 minutes and hold each other and hug each other. No, it's about being intentional when you have those 5 minutes. And when you do that with the people you connect with, whether it's your spouse, your kids, your business partner, your employees, those 5 good intentional minutes make a difference. Even in EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System, we have a 90-minute meeting, our weekly level 10 meeting. The first 5 minutes is a segue. We go around the entire room. Everyone shares their good news personally and professionally. 5 minutes invested. Of 90 minutes, we say the first 5 minutes are all about the people. Before we get to the data, before we get to the headlines, before we get to the issues, let's take 5 minutes to connect. Finally, 5 hours. Over the weekend, or over last week, I was very fortunate. Jen and I, we drove from Vegas to San Diego. And along the way, we went through the Mojave Desert and then wine country. No, there was a wine country in Southern California. And yeah, there was wine country. So we went through wine country in the Mojave Desert and Joshua Tree along the way. One of the best things that happened to us in the Mojave Desert, we hiked for a couple hours. No cell phone service. Next day, as soon as we got to Joshua Tree, 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, no cell phone service. We didn't have cell phone service until 9 o'clock that night. 10 hours of no cell phone service. Wonderful. Great. Amazing. Awesome. We spent those 10 hours together. No distractions. This is on a Friday, right? So it's in the middle of the work. We both have jobs. We both have careers. We both have emails and all those things. And yet 10 hours out hiking without our phones working made no difference in the actual world back here in the rear. And yet those 10 hours we got together were magical. Those 10 hours we were able to connect at a deeper level. And also once we realized our phones weren't working, made it that much simple. We'd start hiking like, well, hold on, do we have the phones? Well, I'll take mine, right? Only so we have the time. And maybe the maps kind of work sometimes. And that's it. All of a sudden we were free from this. The next day, 5 hours. We spent 5 hours to the backcountry driving. No podcasts, no radio, no videos, no music, no nothing. We spent 5 hours driving up and down mountains and everywhere else in between, talking and chatting. Again, nobody else in the world, only the two of us. I challenge you, can you find 5 hours once a month, no cell phones, no screens, no distractions, to connect with somebody? I guarantee you those 5 hours in a 1 month period, really not that big of an investment, will change the way you see your relationship with that person. Because I've been in relationships with people, whether dating or business, we couldn't go 5 minutes without looking at a screen because we were getting distracted. And so that's the challenge, the power of 5 this week. 5 seconds to take in the situation, take in a stimulus, rest on it, think it through, use your clear, confident, creative brain to reassess the situation. And also when somebody comes to you, maybe in such a way, take the 5 seconds to ask a great question to allow them, give them the grace to reset their brains. Second thing, 5 minutes, 3 times a day. Spend those 5 minutes in the beginning part of the day when you're connecting with somebody, when you get home. And actually, I never even talked about it at the end of the night. 5 minutes, end of the night. That is tucking your kids in. That's reading them a story. That's you telling them you love them. No phones, no distractions. Your significant other, 5 minutes of words of affirmations. 5 minutes of no reading, no watching TV, no phones, no nothing. 5 minutes of spending time together, connecting. That's the third 5 minute piece. And finally, 5 hours. Challenge yourself one time this month. Go on a hike, go on a walk, meditate, do puzzles, do something for 5 hours, no phones. I guarantee you can do it. I guarantee the world will continue on with or without you. No problems. You're not that important. Most importantly, whether you're connecting with somebody or you're spending those 5 hours alone on your hike, meditating, reflecting, I guarantee you, you will feel relieved afterwards. The burden of a phone disappears. And all of a sudden you can focus in and concentrate on what you're doing, what's right in front of you, what is in the present. So that's today's lessons. 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 hours. Do the thing this week. Do the fucking thing. Tell the fucking world. Show the fuck up. Give yourself the time to become the person you were always meant to be. And we'll see you next week.
Through all these miles and trials, all I've learned do is smile. Is to smile.